Good morning, everyone, and welcome to American Scousers Morning Coffee or Tea with American Scouser. It is Wednesday. We are back in action. I am back to being the world's greatest dad, number one here. Number two is not with us, but somewhere in those charts is Kazi. Kazi, what's happening?
I'm good, man. Yeah, today's my Nickelodeon cup with all my childhood TV shows. You can't really see it because of the blur.
I can't see it, and I was in the. What do we have there? Do we have anything that?
Hey Arnold.
Hey Arnold was legit, man. I love that.
That's a show called Angry Beavers, which now when I'm an adult, it kind of yeah.
Those were all some top class shows, mind
you. I shouldn't really be drinking up this mug after watching that documentary last week, but it was the first mug that I grabbed.
Right.
So, how that John knows some of these characters actually, because I don't know some of those characters, or like I can't fucking see. Man.
This is a Nickelodeon. This is like
See, I was not a Nickelodeon person. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
See,
John, were you a Nickelodeon kid or a Disney?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like they were a little bit before my time, but they showed when I woke up early for school, like those reruns that come in really early. So whenever I'm, having my cereal and cup of milk and stuff like that, I'm watching Hey Arnold, Angry Beavers, and Rugrats. It was actually Rugrats and then Hey Arnold, and then I don't know if you're familiar, Kazi, with Fairly Odd Parents.
Yes, Fairly Odd Parents.
Fairly Odd Parents right after. So yeah,
I feel like I can watch Angry Beavers after 10 p.m. now. With there's a different kind of show these days, but there we are. What can you do?
Morph and Charlie.
I am not familiar with that.
Oh, Morph and Charlie. Yeah, Morph was him. Oh yeah, I know what he's on. I can't remember. Yeah, it rings a bell.
Yeah, see, I was not a Nickelodeon person, and I know like the girls, as they grew up, they watched a lot of Disney, and we talk about those shows now, and most of them are not around, even though those were her like favorite shows. And then Layla, growing up, she was watching some of them. But I like how Disney changes it by generation, where Jasmine's shows are kind of different than Layla's shows, and they get to sell more stuff, I'm assuming. You know what's like totally ignored here?
Cool.
And like they only know them and have watched a lot of them due to my influence and our influence as like the older parents here are Tom and Jerry, Pink Panther.
Yes.
Classics, but they're nowhere to be found here. Like most American kids probably have never seen Pink Panther except for like Owens Corning Shingles guy. That's about it.
I've actually seen Pink Panther. Looney Tunes as well. Was the
bomb. Yes.
Yeah.
The new Looney Tunes. If you have not seen the latest, because the newer Tom and Jerry's are shits.
Right.
They start talking and stuff, it just goes downhill. But if you see the new Looney Tunes, dude, we actually purchased them on Amazon. This is how pathetic it is. Because it's adult humor more than kid humor, really.
Yeah, like for me, Looney Tunes, all out. Did you ever watch a show called Top Cat?
Oh, yes. Top Cat. I remember Top Cat.
It was the fucking best. Like, says he definitely will know it because he's from the UK. Of course, like Top Cat was fucking top level.
I remember Top Cat. I don't know why, but I remember Top Cat.
Top Cat was the best.
Such a British character too, by the way.
Top Cat. Wow.
I think I've seen this on TV once. I just never tuned in.
Top Cat's the best. Like, because there's adult jokes in there, of course, which you kind of get. It's like when you watch SpongeBob now and you're like, wow, how did this get to work?
Yeah, how the hell did they get away with this shit?
Yeah.
I get that with, like one of my favorite shows is Seinfeld. And I get that, like, when I watch, like, I'm like, holy cow, how the hell did they say that? Because, currently, even with humor or comedy, it would not fly. But, wow. Yeah. See, this is the greatness of the morning show. It goes all over the goddamn place. Not only cartoons this morning, but these early mornings are killing me, says Sparky, because I think it's 7 a.m. where he's at.
Same.
Well, it's 7 a.m. where you're at too, right, Kazi?
Yeah.
You know what? Suck it up.
Start your day. You know what I mean?
We're well worth it, is the way I look at it. But okay, so there is some news to get to. Obviously, maybe I jinxed it, but I did say one more day to go. Hopefully nothing happens, but it was a smooth international break until yesterday where Robertson hobbles off the pitch. But, John, one, we don't know how bad it is. Everybody was like, I mean, I read instantly that it was down for the season. I'm like, I don't even know how the hell that happens. But they're going to be doing a scan on him today. So we'll find out more later on today. How big of a blow is it on the same day that Costas got eliminated. So I don't think I'm assuming Costas was the 5th penalty taker. He didn't even get to take penalties. At least, like, I don't remember him taking one. But how are you at with that?
Big miss. There's a lot of conversation with Robertson's form even coming back. Like, he's not the same player as he was, but there's the reality that he is like a very critical piece to our system, where if he's not around, you feel it. Like, as good as Gomez was during the span that Robertson was out, there was something missing from that left side. And when we face some teams that kind of set up shop against us and kind of dig in, you need that outlet. And if we're going to be continuing playing Diaz on that left side, which we probably would, because he's probably the only natural player for that position, you need that overlap. Otherwise, he's kind of blunted there. So I wouldn't be surprised if Klopp goes to Tsimikas more and more now, considering he gives us that good outball, that good cross, that kind of unlocks Diaz as well. Because let's face it, Diaz isn't having the greatest of seasons production-wise. Like, sure, he's like easy on the eye with all those dribbles, but that end product is just so frustrating. Like, one of the most frustrating players I've ever watched. So anything to help him out, anything to shore up that left side, give us more attacking input, I'm all for it. But yeah, I feel like we still don't know the scan, but it's going to be a miss for sure, because I feel like it's going to be out for a little bit. At the very least, right?
I don't know why I'm on this. I don't feel confident with Costas. I just don't. I don't know what
he did step up, Tim, when he
based on this season and how he's played. Why don't you feel confident with him anymore?
Right,
dude. He is so freaking weak.
So that's just a strength. Everyone's got a weakness.
I understand that. I understand that, but I feel like it hurts us a lot. I think he's like good. He's better than Gomez going forward. But definitely not defensively. That's why I feel like, and I think I was saying on Discord, it's almost like you pick and choose, I think, Kazi, who you play on the left. Depends on who you're going to play against. Like, I'm more terrified if there's somebody on the right wing we're facing, as when Costas plays there, as opposed to when Gomez plays there. But I do understand that we do lose. He's a lot better going forward. I mean, his crosses and stuff like that, obviously, because he can do it with the left. I just don't like, I've never been, even in his peak form, been kind of sold, because I don't think you do get this from Costas that you also get from Robertson, that we do not get from Gomez, is more bravery in terms of pressing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Robertson goes up there and he might lose the ball, but with his instant counter press, he wins so many balls up there that turns into dangerous attacks that you don't get that with Gomez, because he's more worried about making sure he's where he's supposed to be and stuff like that. And honestly, we talk about this with Trent, Kazi, about like the right side and abandoning it. If we're going to abandon one side, I'd abandon left-hand side where Van Dijk is.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been more worried, Tim, if when Robertson went down, before I seen Costas' form, I was shitting myself early on in the season. But then, in fairness to Costas, when he played his way in, it took him like 3-4 games to get going, which is completely understandable. But when he got going, he was excellent. And I have to give credit to that. He was really good.
Yeah, he was good.
I do think he's a better set-piece taker than most in our squad. As well, which is handy for Liverpool, because with the 2 lads at the centre-half, whoever plays, should be on the end of crosses.
Set up the winning goal for this guy right here.
Exactly. Make Costas, I think he got 2 or 3 assists in another game as well. I can't remember, but so his crossing super good as well. The one thing you can say for the left back right now, Liverpool's next 2 games, which are Brighton at home and Sheffield United at home, whether it's Costas or Gomez, I expect Liverpool to win because we're playing at home. Yeah. So if you do want to get Costas some rhythm, the two not bad games. They're not bad games to where you're going to play 90 in both to get your rhythm back, because he feels like he is one of those players who needs a little bit of going before he gets his level. They're not bad games. I think the Robertson's more of a bigger miss in terms of his leadership, and I've been there, done that in these run-ins, and I've been there, and I know how to basically manage myself through these run-ins. This is going to be an intense run-in for Liverpool. We know this. Liverpool are fighting still on 2 fronts. Liverpool are favourites on 1 front, definitely, and probably second favourites on another front, or third at least. So I'm okay with Costas. Gutted for Robbo, because I thought Robbo had his best game versus City. I thought that was his best game back. Yeah. And that wasn't long ago, actually. It was only a couple of weeks ago. I thought him and Diaz looked like they were kind of finding a bit of a partnership for the first time. So it's a bit of a setback that way. It's unfortunate, but we don't know how bad the injury is. So let's not all, get get too excited just yet until we know more. I never forget a game, mate, when Lovren got stretched off on the Wednesday and started the Saturday. I'll never forget this. I was like, I'll start at the weekend, and I'm like, you got stretched off? Like, I thought, fuck me, he's out for fucking 3 months here. Oh no, because let's get it right. Lovren was one of those type of players. Played on the weekend. So let's just relax. Let's just see what happens. It was a friendly. There's going to be a precaution element for Robbo, where he's going to go, well, you know what I mean? And I think he tried to carry on and then went down again, which might tell you, oh, you know what? I thought it was like a bit of a thing that could run off, but it isn't. So it might just be like a dead leg.
Or maybe, why am I doing this?
yeah, of course. There's also could be a part where you know what, could be just like, again, like a fucking dead leg or something like that. You just don't know. So let's just relax, take it easy, and see what happens.
Gomez's major problem as left back and his poor building ability. I don't think it's poor building ability. It's playing on the opposite side. Yeah. I have to play on the left, and it's no bueno when you don't have a left leg. And I don't. I use it just to lean on and walk with.
And to be fair to him, he's been like an 8 out of 10 playing on the other side. Right?
Yeah, see, I totally disagree with this. That's definitely cost us. And I would argue Robertson is better than Gomez defensively. Yeah. If the high line fails, John, it's 80% of the time due to Robertson being behind Van Dijk.
We love Robertson, right?
Oh yeah, I'm just saying.
Great servant to the club, club legend. But there is an element to him where he's kind of been a bit. He hasn't been as defensively astute, at least for me, right? Like the levels were really high. So, for example, in his prime, he's kind of here, and now he's just here, right? Yeah. And with Klopp's system, that margin could be the decider of games. Yeah. That's how risky it is. So I totally understand Saidu's sentiments here, but nah, man, it's a no for me, especially defensively. Gomez has been pretty much. Yeah,
I'm with you 100% on this, right? Because there's some people like Virgil last year. He's not the same player, so he's not the best Premier League defender of all time anymore.
Yeah,
okay, but he's still a top fucking level, top 4 centre half. But his levels dropped. Yeah. His levels dropped from being the greatest defender in Premier League history. His level dropped. Oh, no. Yeah. Robertson has went from one of the best left-backs in Premier League history, one of, up there with Ashley Cole. Oh, and his levels dropped a bit. Right? He's still an unbelievable top world-class left-back. Yeah. And I agree with you, by the way. I think his form before he got injured, I thought he was out of form. And let's get it right. He's played fucking nearly every minute for 60 games for 5 years.
Yes.
Ran into the ground. That's the lad's first break. And let's get it right, when he was out, it was his shoulder. It was nothing to do with his legs. It was his shoulder. So we just need to relax a minute. This is like his first proper injury, if it is a proper injury, by the way, to his ankle/legs running ability for 6 years. Let's give the kid a break.
Yeah, and honestly, he's similar to Fabinho, where we kind of screwed him over, I feel like, and we have not really rotated when we could. I mean, that's why I was like, when we extended Costas, I was like, well, if you value him so much, why didn't this guy come in more and play more games and rest Robertson a bit? I mean, we almost trotted out Robertson and Van Dijk to every single game for months in a row. And with his age, John, I mean, it feels like that's kind of like a disservice to the player as well. And like Kazi's saying, it's not like he's having muscle injuries, but at the same time, there's probably a lot more miles on that leg than there should be.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's more misfortune than breaking down for Robertson. And if there's, you guys kind of hit that nail on the head there. If there's any drop in form for Robertson, it's probably because of the mileage that he's accumulated on his body more than it actually breaking down physically, the fatigue mentally, the fatigue physically. We saw it with Fabinho. Robertson isn't quite there yet, but it's great that we actually have these options now to kind of give him the rest. Because we talk about Big Verge, he played almost every single minute when he was healthy during our best years. We're kind of being a bit more careful with him, not playing him at all in the Europa Leagues, not playing him at all in the Cups or maybe a half. I feel like we should be doing the same with Robertson, especially, it's going to be different, whoever the next manager is, but, keeping these guys who have been such a linchpin for the team over the last few years, I feel, healthy is going to be critical, especially next year when it's going to be a season of transition where we need these guys on the pitch to help navigate that uncertainty. Right. Mm-hmm. So,
no, I agree. I think, like I say, we probably played them way too many minutes, even though it's not muscle injuries, but that's something to be concerned about moving forward, I guess, more than anything else.
I also think that's on the left back. I think that's on Costas for not saying I'm forcing the start here. and
No,
forcing
that's
the
fair.
start.
That's fair. But it goes back to what you were saying. He's the kind of player that needs to play 4 or 5 times before
That's
can
what the manager
actually
might
play.
think, though. The manager might think the same. I agree with you, Tim. I think we've ran the legs off Robertson. I really do. But the manager might also look, well, he needs fucking 4 games to get going. I can't afford to risk him. But in a fucking title
Then
run,
why sign him to an extension if you feel like unless he's playing regularly, he's not very good? And do you really see him as a starting left back moving forward? Let's say post Robertson era.
No,
I don't.
No, I don't either. But I also think that these type of players win your leagues, and where they can come in and just do bits and bobs.
But is that the kind of guy you want in your squad as depth? A guy who needs 4 games to get going. You know what I mean?
Maybe not, no. But there's also a part with the manager. Maybe we could have just given him a 20 here and there. That's on the manager. But the manager also might think, well, I've got a team here who I'm challenging against who win fucking 19 games on the bounce. And I can't afford to take any chances. With this season, as John just mentioned, you can rest players in certain parts because everyone's kind of dropping points a little bit. It's not like no one's going to get 100 points this season. I don't think no one mathematically can. I don't think.
Yeah.
But so no one's going to get 100 points this season to win a league. I think it's like 96 is the max someone can get.
Yeah.
So Liverpool, don't forget about 97 and 91 and haven't won a league. Do you know what I mean? We had to get 99 to win one. So again, I think there's a balance here, mate. But I think I remember growing up, mate, when there was players like fucking John O'Shea and Wes Brown for United who just come in and do bits throughout the season, and you're like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are the players win your leagues. So a Costas might come in and just do a job for us now and win you the league. I wouldn't play Andy Robertson in the Europa League until the Europa League final. I'm not playing. Just fucking, if you can't trust your left back to go out and play against, let's get it right, teams who are struggling in their domestic leagues who were left apart from Bayer. The teams, I know AC Milan are actually playing okay. I think they're 3rd in the league, maybe. But you're playing against Atalanta, who are not top level right now. They're not the Atalanta that we played a few years ago.
They're not. Exactly. Yeah. They lost a lot of those guys.
You should be able to trust Costas to play them games. Do you know what I mean? And then see what happens in the semis and stuff. But I just feel like I would play Andy Robertson, manage his minutes with the league, and then just play him in the Europa League final at the end if you want to play him. You know what I mean?
Piggybacking off your point there, Kazi on Costas, he kind of has had moments already where he did some critical shit. He won us the FA Cup with that penalty, and he delivered that cross to Virgil for the League Cup. But he's done. Yeah, he's done.
He's got 3 assists this season.
Right.
No, I don't want to say like he's bad or anything like that. I just don't.
He's not the top level.
I don't want to enter a season as. No. I think we're in agreement there, right? We don't want to enter a season where Costas is your one.
No, definitely not.
Okay,
no,
that's what I was saying.
But I keep him around for the next 3-4 years to play 15, 20 domestic games for me, including the cups. Then, yeah.
But you got to play him, and that's the thing, and that's what that was my point. I feel like we could have played him a lot of games, or we could have taken Robertson out at the 60 or something like that. Yeah. I mean, honestly, Klopp has been a lot different Klopp this year than compared to seasons in the past.
Yes, man.
We are taking people out. Before we waited till the 80th minute to make a sub, you know, you'd be up like 4-1 on Burnley at home, and he still would like sit on people and would not sub him until like the 80th.
I think it's a part of me where he doesn't trust his bench with Oxlade-Chamberlain and Kyton. I don't think he trusted that bench.
How dare you talk about Ox this morning?
But I think he just trusts him now. You know what I mean? I think he does trust his bench. And in fairness to the manager, he has managed Robbo's minutes since he's come back. Robbo's been getting subbed off a lot for Gomez all cost. You know what I mean? So he has managed him to try and get him back up to speed. This one's just an unlucky one, isn't it? What can you do?
Yeah, Matteo says Robbo is mentally stronger than Fabinho, international captain. Yeah, like I say, I think he has. We don't even know how bad the injury is. And like Kazi was saying, the other one was a shoulder, so it's not like he's having muscle injuries. He's not Thiago, so there's also that. Spike says Robertson 6 out of 10 is better than Gomez 10 out of 10. First of all, that's way too much math for me over here at 9 a.m. So for 7 a.m., I know it's too much math over there. I mean, I think you take him. I don't agree to that. 6 out of so is this like at 60% capacity? This is not much math.
6 out of 10 capacities, leaving 3 or 4 gaping holes in the high line and 3 or 4 big chances for the opponent to convert. I'm just like, listen, as Kazi said, the drop off is still good. He's still a great player, but at this level, the level that Liverpool wants to achieve, those 2 or 3 moments can be the difference between a league title or a Champions League title, so on and so forth. So
yeah. A couple of headlines. I don't even know if you guys care. I personally don't, but you know what? What the hell? Let's just put it up there. Anyway, do you guys get into this stuff. The Hall of Fame of Premier League nominees have been announced, inductees, and stuff like that. Yeah,
No.
nobody knows, Cersei. I think it's because Lauren isn't here to take it, so somebody has to.
It's Gravenberg now, Tim. Gravenberg is the new lover.
Gravenberg, and now another favorite is Gakpo.
Gakpo, it's Gakpo now.
Let's just rib on him as well. Why not?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But what can you do?
So Hall of Fame, no one cares.
No one gives a fuck.
Why would they even get into this? I mean, really does, except you say, okay, so I don't know anything about this. Well, first of all, I didn't know anything about this till I got here. But does anybody else in the world do Hall of Fame except America?
The Premier League? I don't think so. Yeah.
No.
Premier League started what, like 10 years or something like that? It's been, right?
Not like 3-4 years. They called.
Oh, really?
So the first year they inducted like 10, 12 players to like get them all in, and then said, "Oh, we're only going to do 2 or 3 a year now." They just, we need to get all these lads in.
We're just going to get it started.
Yeah, genuinely, yeah. That's what they're like. Oh, yeah, we should just start. But no, don't care. Waste of time. It's Hall of Fame's always opinionated. It's always someone's opinion. Do you want to take a Hall of Fame like a player like Matt Letizia because he played in the Prem for 10 years, 12 years? I don't know.
And here's another thing. It's always like, I mean, it's bad enough we're comparing eras, right? And it's a bit easier, I think, over here, John, because if you do NFL or NBA or whatever, the dude has been in NFL and NBA. Yeah. Whereas when you can look at a Premier League player, he might have come from Serie A. So do you consider that, or do you consider just what he's done in Premier League? How is that fair to the guy? I think it's like they're kind of like forcing something that really doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it doesn't. And like, there's a reason why we're just kind of glossing over it right now. And to be fair, there's no level of intrigue. Like, for example, with, Barry Bonds in the MLB, where he can't be, accepted because he took steroids or some stuff like that. There's no level of intrigue to it. It's almost like it's a formality where like, these guys are going to be accepted, so on and so forth. And there's nothing interesting about it. Like, okay, they're in the Hall of Fame. So what?
There's also a party, but eventually everyone will get in. Everyone will get in, like the basketball.
Right.
Everyone's a Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You win a ring, you get a Hall of Fame. You're in the Hall of Fame. So it's
just time was the charm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like Michael Owen will be in there, which he should. Robbie Fowler, like the Liverpool legends and stuff, they'll be in there. But it's like in 15 years, they'll just
even Michael Owen will be there as a pundit throwing beach balls at fucking Howard Webb sitting in the lap. Like, sorry, Howard.
Listen, Michael Owen won the Ballon d'Or with Liverpool, so I've got to go with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Fowler is in this one, right? And Owen, I think I don't know if he got selected. I know he was in.
No, but I mean, in 15 years he'll get in because they'll go, we're running out of players, and he's all bullshit. Let's just find some legends from back in the day.
Okay, well, here's to make it a Hall of Fame conversation. Van Dijk is a clear one.
Yeah,
easy,
Mo?
Easy.
Yeah.
Who else are you putting in this Hall of Fame?
Alisson, Trent,
yeah, Mane.
I don't think you're putting. Are you putting Trent?
Easy.
Yeah.
You got to figure in 6 years he will accumulate like 6, 7, 8 years. He's got ahead of him at least, right? So he'll accumulate more stats just on top assist guy. He'll be like John Stockton of freaking.
Yeah, I feel like for me it's more the players who don't play for the top clubs. Like, will they get more players in? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking like, no, does JJ Okocha get in for what he did for 18 months at Bolton? Do you know what I mean? So what I mean, like, we all remember those kind of things when he came into the league. Again, I think I mentioned it on the a little insight to the Patreon here when we were talking about the World Cup on our Scouser Irishman and Turk show. When I was like watching, like me when I was 10 years of age, watching the 2002 World Cup and seeing Brazil, my mind was fucking blown on what these players could do with the football. Because I'm used to watching shitheads, and then I seen Ronaldinho run with the ball, and I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing? Are you from like an alien?" And like Juninho signed for Middlesbrough, and I was like, what are you? Like, why have not Liverpool signed you and built every like statues of you? Because I couldn't believe these players did it. So I mean, there's also impacts at certain clubs. Did they just go in and make an impact? I don't know. Like Kante has to be in there for me for what he did at Leicester. Jamie Vardy probably. So you actually,
but then people are gonna say, are you going to put him in there for 5 years, 6 years, whereas this guy played 12 years? It starts like worthless. Like I hate like comparing players between eras and stuff because I feel like it's such a lame and pointless conversation because it's very difficult to compare. And here's another thing, like when you look at eras, right? Being a defender, like back like 20 years ago in the Premier League, and now are night and day. Exactly for one of some of the reasons you're saying, Kazi, because they didn't. You just had to be big and head the ball out of the box 20 years ago in the English league, right? Yeah. But you look at Serie A, it's probably easier to be a defender there now than it was back then when they were on the top. That's why it's so pointless to compare eras and stuff.
I watched
because I'm in the American Scouts.
well, I mean, you're the creator of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I'm gonna be running I'm gonna hand myself the awards. That's
I appreciate it. Yeah.
You know that Obama meme where he's like putting the medal around himself.
Yeah. But no, man, it's all opinions, and it's all someone's opinion. I don't care about who's in the Hall of Fame.
I think with Tim, it's not an opinion; it's a fact.
Is it?
Dude, I'm a first ballot, man.
He's in there for his opinions on
unanimous first ballot votes for Hall of Fame.
Just on Trent's defending alone, but yeah.
Right.
And here's another thing, really, the competition is not there for one, and then I can always veto it if somebody else gets it before me. So Europe's top 5 leagues. This was on ESPN, right? Yeah, ESPN FC, your reliable source for soccer news. But I'm assuming this is based off of ratings on average, because I can't see another reason why there will be 3 Bayern players there. Does this tell us anything, John? Except maybe it's easier to be good at the German league consistently. I don't know what does this tell us.
Oh, I'm just happy that any props for Big Verge. I'm just happy for it because finished and all that, expendable asset and all that. Like, no, come on, we need
that Buongiorno guy that we can put right next to him.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also these are just little teenagers who are doing ratings on an app. Why does anyone fucking care? People go, "Oh, we only got this. Who is doing this?"
Like I said, man, bottom of the barrel. I'm actually the one who sent that, and now you're making me feel bad, cuz.
Listen. If you want to talk about Virgil van Dijk, fella, I can be here all day for you. Do you know what I'm saying? But like Saka over Salah, really? Like. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. It's going off of ratings, which I really hate. Sometimes when we talk about lineups and stuff like that, I share sofa scores ratings. And the problem is that's why I've always, as like an old school guy, I've always hated like so many numbers in soccer, because there's a lot of like eye test, I feel like, as opposed to just looking at numbers. It's not as easy as, I don't know, 6 out of 10 field goals, 60% shooting and stuff like you do in NBA. You got 8 rebounds. I feel like there's a lot of other things. I know, like football has things like blocking or something like that might not show up, or basketball has certain things. You set a pick or something that doesn't show up in stats. I understand that, but I feel like soccer is like not as easy to quantify. But unfortunately, Kazi, we're entering an era where a lot of this stuff is quantified. And some of them are very legitly. Obviously, a lot of scouting has gone to numbers as well.
But there's a part of this, though. It's actually interesting that you think like that, where like the FSG model kind of thing is like more stats-based on to sign players. Like, for example, if you watch Sadio Mane play football, he wouldn't pass an eye test. You'd look and go, you look like the most uncomfortable man in the world.
It looks awkward.
He couldn't run properly with the ball, and that eventually his first touch was a bit iffy at best. Do you know what I mean? And so it's like Liverpool have had those players, which is interesting. Because that's how you think. And Liverpool have had those players who don't really pass eye tests. Robertson wouldn't really pass an eye test when you first seen him at Hull, but they've seen enough in him with his stats.
Yes,
he could do a job for us, kind of thing. So it's interesting, isn't it? But I'm a big believer in you. It's eye test. You go and watch an amateur game of football. Within fucking the first 40 seconds who the best players. Because it's by the touch and how they slow the game and just do something a bit different. And you're like, oh yeah, clearly he's the best player. And like I've never seen this game before, but he's the best player.
What comprises our squad more? Do you guys think? Like our current squad,
stats,
guys.
Yeah, but I think there's certain moments where and I can see it with the manager's signings where the manager's kind of taken over and vetoed. For example, I think he wanted Thiago. I don't think Michael Edwards wants Thiago, but I think he wanted Thiago.
Yes.
And he got unlucky with Thiago because what happened at the midfielders that year, and he had to run the legs off Thiago, and that's why we're suffering what happened now. He wanted Thiago as a luxury player. But he wanted Thiago, so he wanted to, because he thought Fabinho and all the centre halves should be fit, and I get legs around him. And let's get it right. If the manager probably was right in effect, because he would have been a lovely player for us.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of like Wijnaldum, for example. Wijnaldum's a great one. Only the Liverpool fans rate Wijnaldum. No one else rates him. Like, nah, he was okay. No, it's all stats based.
And sometimes it's fitting the system too. Like when you look at numbers, you can say for this position, these are the stats we're looking at. For this position, and then you can say because this guy over here has these stats, the guy who plays in front of him, we're looking for these stats and stuff like that. So I know it's like the scouting part has become very, very number based. But when I look at these ratings, John, since you brought it up and you gave it to us to talk about, I feel like the multipliers is what pisses me off. So somebody can play really good, right? Better than the other guy. Let's say, Frimpong is, for example, a great player. I'm not saying that, but like, give us an example. Well, shit, Grimaldo on the other side is on here too. But okay, let's say Trent and Robertson, right? Robertson can play a great game. But Trent can be average and, doing his normal defensive thing. But if he gets an assist in that rating, automatically he gets like a 1.5 points added on because he has an assist. So at the end, when you look at the numbers, it looks like he actually played better, even though, he might have had a bigger impact, but he didn't play better. That's why I don't like game rating.
For sure. As with everything, there needs to be context. Right, you can score 40 points, but what? You were down like 16 the entire game. So what? Right, you were down 20 the entire game. So what? I send it primarily because my boy Big Verge just wanted to give more props to him. He's back, right? But obviously
justified. I only put this on there.
Right. Like, listen, it obviously there you need to take it with a grain of salt and everything. But
I'm with you.
Yeah. So numbers without context, of course, is nothing. But it can be helpful. As with everything, there needs to be a great balance with everything. And the most ideal situation is to have someone like Verge, who one passes the eye test for sure, and two is a freaking monster on the numbers side as well. So
I don't think there is anybody like when you look on this team, you can't say anybody over here doesn't pass the eye test, right? But I just feel like because of how Bundesliga is, like a guy like Musiala, Sane and stuff appear there because they win their game 6-1, 5-0 and stuff like that. So he gets an extra assist, an extra goal and stuff. And that's because of what I was saying earlier, that bumps up their rating. So they look like Musiala looks like the best midfielder over everybody else. And if you notice, that's the thing. It's just, Bellingham, for example. You can't argue for anybody. I do not know the Italian dudes personally, so I can't speak for that. I don't watch a lot of Serie A, but everybody else on here, you can't argue that they're not good players.
I've watched most of the Bayern highlights this season, the 10, 12-minute highlights. I've watched most of the games, and Musiala's been excellent, but I'd argue that Declan Rice has been better. So there's just again, so I've no Arsenal player, and I know they got Saka, but I'd have Salah over Saka. So it's just, again, it's all opinion. Haaland's still the top goal scorer. He was out for 3 months. Right. So why isn't Haaland and over Mbappe? Because Mbappe's playing against a fucking bunch of pub players, you know what I mean? Like farmers, basically. So, again, it's all opinions, and it's someone's opinion again. But
yeah, that's the thing. Stats are better if you're playing weaker teams. So European players playing in weaker leagues look good. Yeah, I think it's automatically,
that's always been my opinion on Lukaku. Lukaku will beat the bottom 10 for you twice. He'll beat the bottom 10 twice because he's just a bully. But the good thing is that's 60 points before you start. Right. So if you're Lukaku, you go, I'll get you 60, you get the other 30, we win the league. So that's the part, if you're a Lukaku, I'll beat the bottom 10 home and away.
So you guys just got to take the other games.
I will help you out in the others. I'll get the odd goalie in there, but I'm not getting hat-tricks. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's those type of players. Do you know what I mean? I always look at Henry was a bit like the same. I think Henry's, he had like a record of scoring in the game, like Middlesbrough, he got like 13, and Palace, he got like 11. But then you see Mo Salah's top teams he scored against in the Premier League, City, United, and Spurs, and do you know what I mean? Like high-end teams, where Henry will just go, well, I'll just beat these lads for you. Henry never scored in a major cup final, I don't think. So it's that kind of thing, you know what I mean? It's interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot of stats padding, if you will, like,
Yeah, it's padding. So I know what you mean, but it is padding as such. But there's also a part where he goes, but I'm getting 60 points, so it's not padding.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So I think
but would anybody else get those 60 points as well?
Yeah, of course, but there's also a part where
and maybe gets more from the other side. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But there might be a part where you go to Brentford and not score.
Yes, true.
I think inverse the inverse is Divock Origi, right? He'll not score for you for like 100 games, but then get a Champions League final winning goal.
Yeah.
So
it's those kind of. I always look at those type of players, mate. Lukaku's always my baseline on Lukaku. If you actually look at his stats, you always go, well, he'll beat the bottom 10 twice, 60 points. Lads, help me out in the others, and we'll win the league. And that's what they did at Inter Milan and stuff like that. So fair play to him. I can't complain. Do you know what I mean? So I love those type of players, really.
But really, ESPN FC is probably like, hey, the joke is on you guys.
Gets clicks, doesn't it? Gets clicks and likes.
Talk about it. So mission accomplished for them, I assume.
We should make an American Scouser team of the season so we could get clicks and likes, right?
Yeah. Put some weird numbers on there. 8.31.
Right. I gave Nunez a season a 9, and because he thought I was insane, so I'll do that, and we'll get clicks, right?
Yeah.
We'll get a lot of clicks for that.
Martin James Trafford in goal from Burnley. He fucking lets every goal. Oh, he's been great. He's English. He won the Euros.
Signing of the season, Ryan Gravenberch, right? Like,
we were talking about our news writer here in Kevin Nevin. We were talking about this on like Messenger yesterday. That it's a lot. It's very easy if you really want to get clicks and likes or comments or to rile people up. It's almost a little too easy, and that's what the biggest challenge, as a website is, or like our podcast and stuff. We can like yell and scream, and it'll be more clippable, and people will get it. It's like we'll say outrageous shit all the time, like just pull a ESPN all day long, like just say crazy stuff that we're gonna say the opposite of tomorrow, because then that'll be a different clip. You know what I mean? So it's a lot easier to get that shit. This is a bit harder to do it sensibly. And this is why we need people to drag others by the ear, because then you don't get that same exposure because you're too sensible. The craziness is what sells, Kazi. That's why you're here.
I mean, where's our brother and Nam when you need them? But in fairness, that's why Steve Nichol's still employed, isn't he? And that's why Dave Bailey's still employed, because these people have no idea. And then they're just saying stuff because that just comes to the mind. I remember when I think Steve Bailey said one a couple of weeks ago that, Saka, as soon as you feel, Bukayo Saka, as soon as he feels something, he doesn't really like to finish the game. And it worked out that he'd started in the 90 minutes for the last 21 games. Like, you even watch the game, like you watch people. So it's just whatever. Do you know what I mean? I don't try and take no care of it, you know what I mean? But we've always got an eye here for the clicks and the likes. So.
There we go. Yeah, that explains Anan and Thiago. Yes, that's or him in the same room. So there's that. I saw that he laughed that Gerrard has played more minutes than Thiago at Anfield this year. So
I never thought to be saying Gregory Vignal lad as well at the start of the season, but there we are. Yeah.
Okay, so big games coming up this weekend. We're obviously taking on Brighton earlier in the day on Sunday, and then Arsenal City. We were talking about it before we went on air, and Kazi is for Arsenal. I'm going for a draw. John, where are you at?
Draw as well. I'd like us to get some breathing room, but Kazi made a case here about hey now.
hey. Sparky, hey, John, I've just done that famous thing where you just sit up because I'm about to save my case. Do you like on FIFA when you go 1-0 down?
Right.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
He was actually doing fine before he got injured in the League Cup final, Gravenberch. He was getting a bit of form, but listen, it hasn't been a good season for him. I'll concede that, but I'm still on the gravy train.
We've seen enough from him to know there's a player in there.
Right. I'm still on the gravy train forever.
And that's the same thing with like Gakpo. I don't understand how people saw Gakpo's body language has not changed at all. I was putting in the comments. Gakpo's body language has been always the same. So when he was producing, he's so, calm and cool and serious. And now when he's not producing, he's lackadaisical. And it's like, you can't play both games. And I know it looks worse when you're not producing and you're going around, but it was the same with Van Dijk when Van Dijk was not his best and he was making errors and he's still going around the same Van Dijk. Even he lost some of his swagger then because he knew that walk did not match the play. Whereas now, calm as you like. But then when you're not producing and you're calm as you like, that's when fans get riled up and say, he doesn't play with passion and stuff like that. But Gravenberch is like a different ordeal, I think, where we saw glimpses when he first started, and then he kind of got lost.
Yeah, he's a kid who has barely played football. He hasn't had no fucking pre-season. We've seen enough from the kid to know that there's a player there. Let's give the kid a break whenever he's back. I think he's actually back. He actually was on the bench, weren't he?
Yes, he was.
So
he should be back in
Brighton.
action.
He should be back for Brighton. He should be back for Sheffield United.
That's why John can't wait for the Premier League to start. Gravenberch might be back.
But I'm excited to see him, mate. I really am, because I thought he was actually playing quite well. For his last few cameos that he played, I thought he was unlucky in the final. It's a horrific tackle. So
he was keeping it. He was just keeping it simple,
which is what we wanted out of him.
Yeah. Right. None of that.
You're right. Mate.
None of that forcing shit. Just keep it simple.
I don't want to see Bobby Clark play in the Premier League this season. Whatever. I don't care what people think. I don't want to see him. I want my lads back. I want my senior lads back. Whether you like it or not, Gravenberch has played in the fucking Champions League semi-final like 18 and captain Ajax. He's a fucking kid. He knows what's going on. Yes. And I want him. I don't want to see Bobby Clark play in the Premier League for Liverpool again. I want these lads.
I want to see Bobby Clark coming in the season to rest someone.
He can play against Atalanta if you want, but he's not playing in the Premier League for me. I want my fucking senior boys back. Well,
in an ideal world, I mean, like I say, I understand what you're saying, but I still want to see those kids come in and get like 10 minutes, 15 minutes to close games out and rest.
Open 5-0 against Sheffield next Tuesday, then fucking put them on. No issue at all. Do you know what I mean? But as of right now, mate, this season's 10 games to go. I want my senior lads back.
I'm with Kazi there. It's winning time, guys. If we have everyone available, like the kids were a good stopgap.
Fantastic.
That's what they were.
So you would play an experienced Gravenberch out of form, and not familiar with the system, over an informed Bobby
all day,
who knows the system.
Probably, yeah. Like getting Gravenberch back into form benefits us more long term.
Yeah, but I don't care about his form. I don't care about getting Gravenberch to. I mean, that's why, like, it's the last 10 games. I couldn't care less who we're working into form right now.
I agree.
Earlier in the season, I would have said yes, let's get him in form. Right now, I don't give a damn about his form. Let's just win. Whoever is going to do the job is who should play. We'll figure out his form in the summer. You know what I mean?
There's also I'm sorry, John. There's also a part where I don't think Gravenberch should be starting many in the league.
Yeah, for sure.
We should have these lads back. Sabozlai and McAllister.
Jones back?
Curtis Jones back. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, Jones
is he back?
I think so. I think
Sparky should know, so that he can say no Jones. Is he back?
I think it's Jones, Jota, Trent, and I know Gravenberch is now back, so I think they're the 4 that might come straight back in.
Right.
No, I thought Trent will not be back for another 10 days.
Another 10. So there you go. Then so we might be back for United away.
Yes, that's I think the game he's in contention for.
That's going to be a conversation, man.
Yes,
we'll get to that in a bit later. When in 2 weeks, bring that conversation up. That's going to be a lovely conversation to have with you. But yeah, on this Arsenal game on the weekend, mate, bring that league table back up, and I'll make my case for why I want Arsenal to win. I would like City to be dead and buried, and that's why I think City needing Liverpool and Arsenal to both drop points in 2 games might be too much, and for them to win out. And I think that's why it hurts them more in a little bit. The one thing I don't want City to do, mate, is get on a run, because they'll just win the next 10. The one thing I want City to do is start going, well, we're 5 points off and we've got a Champions League quarter-final to worry about. That's what I want City to do. Are we going to win this league? Do you know what I mean? That's what... And I know, because we've been fucking scarred by City before. I'm permanently scarred by them. We know what they can do. And if they get going... And listen, I'm not saying I wouldn't accept the draw. I would love a draw. But there's a party with Arsenal's away fixtures, especially, which we'll go on to, for sure. Arsenal's away fixtures, I would back them to drop. And only a point, I would back them to drop. Arsenal have won their last 9. There's 10 to go. If they win 19 games to win the league, I hold my hands up. Congratulations, you deserve to win the league because you've won the last 19 games. And I can't fault you. But their away games, mate, are fucking bastards of away games. Yeah, we'll go through them now. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I look at the schedule, and there are maybe 3 games where I'm like, they're not going to lose points. The Luton Town, Bournemouth at home, Everton at home. I'm like, they're not going to lose points on those. Every other game, I can be like, hey, something might happen here, right? Yeah. So you get that. Let's look at City's remaining schedule after Arsenal.
That Spurs away game's a bastard for them, because I think that Spurs away game has to only place it can be scheduled is in between the second to last game and the last game of the season. So they might be going to City away, Spurs away, their second to last game of the season, Tim. And they've only ever won there in the cup. They've never won there in the league. They always drop points to Spurs away. It's a weird thing that Spurs have over them. So that game might be their second to last game of the season on the Wednesday.
You guys prefer City going out to Real or taking them out to kind of fill up their schedule?
No, keep them going. Stay in it.
Hmm.
Beat Real, get Arsenal in the semis. That's the dream.
What about you two?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't care who wins Champions League at this point. So
No, I mean it's kind of like, because if they lose, obviously they lose to Real again, and the last time they did, it kind of hurt them. It hurt their confidence.
Yeah,
I
see what you mean.
Yeah,
I don't know. I see, like, if it's Arsenal, they get hammered by Bayern again. I just don't see them as mentally strong as City. Yeah. I think City as a team, and because there is Pep there, not the spazzy Arteta, I think they just go as business as usual. They're like, they shrug it off, they keep going. They won it before. If they had never won it before, I think that's when the argument comes in. But they're like, they won it before, so I think it's in the back pocket. And I think City is more of a team mentally stronger to say, okay, so we got these left now and keep going. Whereas I can see Arteta spazzing out.
Before you go, Kazi, I just can't get over how I forgot that City won it. It's just how Kazi said it perfectly before. No one cares that they won. No one cares.
They won the treble and no one talks about
it. Yeah, no one cares.
Yeah.
Okay. They won the treble, as people call it. It's not the treble.
Is that because it's City? Is that because everybody knows the story being in the background? Which one is it?
Yeah. It's just not a big club. They don't affect me. Let
me ask you that. If the 115 were not there, would it be a much bigger story?
No.
Even though it is City.
I give you guys a question. If it was United, Chelsea, and City going for the league, who do you want to win the league?
City.
1000%.
No one cares. 1000%.
No one's asked because you're too small. You don't bother me. I don't talk to City fans. I don't see City fans in my life.
I don't know City fans.
I see United fans. I see Chelsea fans. I don't see you. You're nothing to me. You're nothing. So that's why. But again, going back to the point of this game, that's why I feel like I need City out of it, and I'd back Arsenal to drop. Bring up Arsenal's fixtures again. I've just done it. They've got Brighton away. Apart from the City away game, Brighton away, Wolves away, Spurs away, and United away. Spurs away is their derby. Don't forget. Right. Yes. That is honestly. Wolves away is as hard as you can go. If Wolves get back their players back, because they've got a lot of injuries. But if Wolves get their players back, that's a fucking hard game. And then you look at United. United can surprise you, of course they can, because they've done it to Liverpool. And then you look at Spurs. Do you think United Arsenal with all their history? Do you think they want Arsenal rolling up to their ground and beating them?
Of course not.
To win the league?
Of course
it's the second to last game of the season, so they can go and win the league. Are you fucking mad? Do you know what I mean? So it's like, and then I back myself for Arsenal to drop points more than City would. So that's why I think if you get City out and they need two teams to drop in two different games, then they could be out of it.
Well said.
See,
yeah,
John,
I guess
I'm convinced
I understand the case you're making there. I feel a lot better knowing I'll
in
be
Liverpool's hands.
I get it. Arsenal, 3 points ahead of City, which gives a full game ahead of City with 9 games to go.
I get that, and I get that completely. But there's a part where you're looking. I know it's in Liverpool's hands. Then Liverpool know you win the next round in the league, and I agree with everything that you've just said. But again, I just don't want City just to go on a run. Because I'm petrified.
Yeah, I think more. Essentially, like what I was just thinking that it's funny you mentioned that because Sparkus says nobody hates City, just don't care about them.
Yeah.
Do you guys think, John? Let me ask you this because you probably know a lot more newer fans, right?
Yeah.
If you started following Liverpool recently, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't want to be that guy who's just like you just jumped on the bandwagon. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But if you've been following, like in the US, for example, you pick Liverpool as your team, and the last 5 years, you might almost get like a false notion that there's a rivalry there, whereas that's really non-existent in history. But don't you think a lot of the newer fans might perceive it as this is our biggest rival, even though really this is kind of like a new thing?
That kind of gives them away, doesn't it? And like, no offense to them, like again, not trying to be that guy, but then you kind of don't take them as seriously because I haven't been a Liverpool fan for the longest time, like just over 10 years, right? But I know like City are just these guys who got rich. They're just the rich kids who just happen to have rich parents, just strolled in thinking they're hot shit, right? Challenging the established big boys who, you know, like let's face it, we hate Arsenal, we hate United, but they built their history. They built it, and fair play to them. They challenged this, right? They didn't. they earned their riches, they earned their status in world football. Whereas City, you know, these guys just rolled in, like as Kazi said, small club still are with the mentality, like you know, just because you won a few here on the back of 115 charges, don't make you hot shit. I'm just saying. So Tim, when you come up and see these guys, you know, these Man City fans, like, oh, okay, like with their chests out, I was like, bro, where were you 10 years ago? Like, I would just love you to tell me where were you 10, 15 years ago? Just tell me, please. I would love to know. And please don't tell me you were wearing that sky blue jersey.
Hey, you're like a Golden State fan. I bet you have a lot of Golden State fans like that, for example, right?
Right. Like, listen, I understand the notion, of course, but then I've been a basketball fan since I was a kid, and I just love great basketball. And they play, the style that they play is a team first, very different from that kind of ball pounding one-on-one shit that's been so prevalent in the NBA for so long. So in a sense, it's how the game should be played, which is sharing the ball. So that's kind of what attracted me towards them. But whereas, you know, with Golden State, it's kind of the same thing. You know, when they won 73 games, when they won multiple titles, a lot of people got into the bandwagon. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm secure in my fandom because I know I just love great basketball. I've been watching this thing the longest time. Yeah.
I don't think it's a secure thing. As such, people can, again, you can come into this sport anytime you like and pick your team you like. And I don't care about City. I don't care about City coming in and challenging the establishment of terms of the big clubs, because I think you should have new challenges and you should have teams coming up. But there's also a part, you can't make me care about you. You can't make me be bothered about you because you're nothing to me. Do you know what I mean? Like you are literally, I don't care.
Sorry, Cosy. Like, Sparky just attacking me this morning. Jesus Christ, man.
Fucking hell, Spark, fella. You lit your fuse.
Yeah, I was like...
But it's I mean, so I've got no issue with people like newer fans coming in and believing that City, and City is a rival in terms of football.
Right.
On the field, they are a rival. Of course they are. But like next year, if it was fucking Brentford who wanted to win the league, then Brentford would be a rival of Liverpool because they're trying to take what we want, which is the league title. So that's what City are to me.
But as bad as, for example, United has been, as much as they sucked and stuff, it's still a 10 times, 100 times bigger game in terms of rivalry, not in terms of importance of winning the league, but in terms of rivalry and, you know, how much people get into it and stuff. Even if one of them is bad, it's a big deal. I think, to me, that's what shows what the rivalry is. Even one team is sucking, when they play together, throw the records out the door kind of a deal. You know?
United fans from Manchester want Liverpool to win the league. When it was City-Liverpool. Sorry, they want City to win the league over Liverpool. They want City. They're going to want City to win the league. They're not asked. They just don't want Liverpool to win the league. So that's what the rivalry is. But yeah, like City are nothing. So City want to go on and win the league, no problem. And like, but you don't make me care. I will not care if you win the league. I will hate for Liverpool not winning the league because I thought we deserve more. And I think our teams deserve more. And that's why if the 115 charges do hold up, I'll be heartbroken. Heartbroken because we've lost out on 2 league titles by a point. And you cannot tell me that 1 point, by the way, doesn't mean something when you do the charges like you do. That's what hurts more. Not when United finish second with Ollie and they fucking finish 20 points behind and they're trying to... No. When it's 1 point... That's the fucking ball. Like, and you're like, my team, my Sadio Mane, my Fabinho, I fucking love dearly. They deserve more. Mo Salah deserves more. Virgil van Dijk.
I think so too, yeah.
Alisson deserves more. And because you cheating bastards have done this, you should be relegated to the fucking fourth division.
And I think that's why it feels wronger, I guess, or it feels like worse. And maybe we care less because we know about the charges and stuff. Like, there's like, it's shady, so this doesn't count. It's almost like, I don't know, playing somebody in Call of Duty and they're hacking. So it doesn't mean anything because you're freaking hacking. Like, your win does not mean as much, or you're not. I'm not going to respect your level. I mean, yes, they play great football, but it's harder to respect that level because of how that is achieved more than what you're seeing.
Yeah, to add to Kazi's point a few minutes ago, like if City won the league without the 115 charges, where they actually built their squad,
no issue.
No issue, and I would actually care. I would give them props.
Yeah,
like if Arsenal won it, like as Kazi said, they win their last 19, they win out. Fair play. Like that is no one does that shit. Like you know what, you deserve it. Whereas,
but Arteta's still got a bit of Everton in him, Tim. That's the reason why I want Arsenal to win. He's still got that little bit of Everton in him. When it gets to crunch time, he's a bit like the Spurs thing, innit? Do you know what I mean? Ooh, what are you going to do now, big dog? You got to win your last 9 and you win the league. Come on, man.
It's the fans' passion that makes the rivalry, not the money, says Sparky. And I agree. And I think, that's kind of like builds the hatred as well. I mean, yeah, kind of like what you're saying. If, as a Fenerbahce fan, for example, if Galatasaray and Beşiktaş are going for it, Beşiktaş can win it any goddamn day. Anybody who bought Galatasaray kind of a thing. I really don't care. Let the Foster kid win it. You don't want the other brother winning it. Twin brother. So
I also say it all the time going on for the US sports. The one thing that the US TV wants is Lakers Celtics in a final. It's the only thing that they want. It's all the US TV rights, TV guys want, because they're two biggest teams. United and Liverpool, the two biggest teams. Barca, Real are the two biggest teams. Do you know what I mean? Espanyol and Barca's the derby. Everyone forgets that. It's Barcelona versus Espanyol, and no one cares. Because that's what Liverpool-Everton kind of thing is in that sense, unless you're from the city. But that's what it is. And I agree. City are nothing. If City go on and win the league.
And I can understand, I mean, I don't know, like when I came to the US and I started watching football, not knowing anything about it. I mean, obviously you're not going to be inclined to suddenly like a team that looks miserable out there, right? I mean, so when you're watching, I mean, I picked the 49ers because they passed the ball more, and the running game was really boring to watch as a soccer fan coming over here. You're like, what is going on? A bunch of people constantly running into each other for a 1-yard run play is so confusing to a soccer fan who doesn't know football, right? So, I mean, I started liking them because
could have used more
they're
of that
playing good football and they're winning, and you're like, yeah, this is fun. So, you watch them more and you start rooting for them. I mean, you're not gonna come in and like root for a team that are like, these guys are so bad, it's good. I'm enjoying it. So I understand why you would come in. But then if I knew that they were doing something shady in the background, I think that would kind of irk me as I watched them, and probably would go with someone else. Like I can see you watching City. If you didn't know anything, right? And you can see, I mean, they play great football. I mean, nobody can deny that, right? They do. I mean, the passing, the movements and stuff like that. I mean, it is...
There's no endeavour. There's no panic. This is the most boring team ever.
That takes time to do that. That takes time to do that. I think maybe that's why, like knowing, and they do the same thing over and over again.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But being able to do it despite doing the same thing, like the tiki-taka of Barcelona, it was boring to watch, but you still got to give it to them.
It was impressive. I'm not arguing. It's impressive to what they do. But fuck me, it's boring.
Yes.
There's just no endeavour. Every team's just going to come in and camp 11 behind the ball and hope for the best. And try and get you on a counter. That's why when you see City go 1-0 down, everyone goes, what? Liverpool have been 1-0 down like 17 times this season. It's more entertaining to me. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, man. It's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting. But I know what you're saying there, though, mate. If you want to come in and just watch a team win and just be methodical like a robot, then City's your team. But if you want that fucking fire in your belly, mate, of watching Liverpool make a comeback,
but then you got to know more about the background story. I think if you're just sitting down,
exactly. Exactly. That's completely fair. If you're just tuning in to watch, I want to watch football and soccer and see what this is about. City are the best team, and they win every week. I'll just support them. No problem. I've got no issue with that either. But if you want to feel that fucking alive moment in your stomach, then it's going to be like a Liverpool, or like if you're a United fan, for example, and then Diallo does that against Liverpool. Fuck me, like that feeling for them must have been
right. Yes,
you know what I mean. To bottle that feeling must have been the best feeling in the world.
That damn kid crying on the camera. I wanted to kick him out of there.
I know what you're saying, John, and it is funny. That's that kid's best moments in his life.
Right, exactly.
He wasn't there for those times. He's probably looking at his dad going, "Are you sure these were good?"
Yeah.
These are fucking crap.
Right.
Most weeks. It's like an Everton fan now, when Everton fans in the 30s and you've seen Everton win the league in the 80s. Are you sure that? Because this is fucking depressing every week.
Everton,
like, are you sure these were good? Like that United fan, that was his best moment. He's probably like 8. And that's his best moment of his life. To see that. Do you know what I mean? It's just mad, bro. It's insane, isn't it?
Yeah, so he says, like, I do agree that Liverpool as... and yeah, we are probably biased, but as somebody out of the game, the pressing and all that kind of stuff, it's probably more exciting to watch. I would think. I can see that. But then he says, my boys really got into footy because of Mane and Salah. I hate to tell you, bro, but your kids probably got into Mane and Salah because they know if they got into Grealish and Doku or something like that, they'd be sleeping out in the yard with the dog. So
yeah. That's one thing I'm petrified of. You know, if my kids come home and say like they support a different club, and I'm like, well, where are you going to eat tea tonight?
I'm not a fan of the belt personally. I don't have kids, but if they say that they're a fan of what's his name, Garnacho and whatever, you know, it's time to get the belt. It's time to get the belt.
I don't know where you're sleeping tonight, but it's not
right. Yeah, it's not here.
Like,
It's not
Fucking hell,
weird.
you're not living near, girl.
Yeah.
People living under my
I think
roof.
it's just like culture. I mean, it's not even comprehended though, right? I
Could you
mean, like,
imagine
you know,
someone
when
in
I
your
was
family?
born, I mean, like I say, my grandfather here, being a Fenerbahce player, like everybody in the family, like you're not gonna. It's not
Oh,
even
that's
like
right.
it's not an option. Like it's not even viewed
Yeah.
as an option. That's why it's always interesting. Like, you know, I remember like we talked in the past about, you know, Everton relegation, blah blah blah. It's interesting to have so many mixed families, for example.
In Liverpool, it is weird. I know it's weird.
Yeah,
But
because that wouldn't that like I say, like if my brother said, "Oh, I'm gonna root for Galatasaray," they're like, "Yeah, nice knowing you, bro, but you're gonna have to leave." I mean, it's just like you're not gonna stay in this household, kind of a thing.
I'm with you. It is weird, and Liverpool have ideas of a couple of me now. I also think it's because Everton have been shit for so long, and it's like even the dads are like, "Do I want to put my kid through this fucking misery? I just let the kid support Liverpool." Do you know what I mean? Because it's been fucking miserable for 30 years. But yeah, man, it is weird, bro.
Like it says, that's reckless. You can't hit kids anymore. Yes, I'm extremely against.
Yeah, all of us at American Scouts are extremely against this, and we're quite advised that John does not have children.
John's ridiculous opinions does not reflect.
But also,
I'm not saying anything.
I would back John all day. John, if you want to whip your kids for supporting United, you whip those kids.
I'm just being honest here.
Okay, if they're United fans, you guys are really luring me over there. But no, I will just open the door and say, well, you can be that.
So before we finish, hey, I want to ask you guys a question before we finish. How many games do Liverpool, there's 10 to go, need to win the league?
9. I'd say 9.
Okay.
Yeah. I just want to be sure.
I take 8 and a draw.
It's probably not 9.
8
but
and 2 draws or 1
8
loss.
and a draw. I'm taking 25 points.
If I offered you now 25, you'd take it.
Yeah. I'll take 25. Yes. I think 25 points wins you the title. 89.
How many points is that? How many points does that leave us on?
89.
89.
Yeah, that's enough, I feel.
You think
I guess it's 7. I don't think that cuts the mustard.
7? I don't think 7. 7's only 1 and 3. Like you lose 1 and 3, wouldn't you? 1 and 4. 1 and 3. Probably if you win 7 out of 10, you lose 1 and 3. That's I was thinking about it this morning, but I don't trust Arsenal because of their away games. And then it's City, of course, and we were fucking just dogs.
I think 25 is like 8 wins and a draw is pretty darn good.
Depending on this weekend. This weekend's key because of the United Arsenal game. That's why it's another part. So, for example, do you take 25 if Arsenal win?
No, see, that's the problem. That's why I don't want to win. That's why I want to draw. If take a draw, my 25 works like a charm.
I take it, Kazi. If Arsenal win, and we win against Brighton, right? And Arsenal win. Yeah. I take it. I feel like they'll drop points against Spurs, United.
I think they'll drop points against Spurs or United. But then if you get 25, they'll have to drop points in another game. That's the thing. It's all balanced, isn't it? Then they've got a free hit. They've got the Champions League, of course, but you've got no FA Cup, don't forget. I know City are playing Chelsea in semis. They've had no FA Cup since Liverpool knocked them out in the first round. So it's like, it's just a balance. I don't know what I would take. I was thinking about it this morning. I don't want to get to 90 points and not win a league again. Oh, fuck me, man. Like,
well, I mean, 90 points in like 8 wins and 2 draws. Is that what you're taking?
90 points again, no, and then not winning the league. I don't think I can come back from it. Like,
right.
You see
I don't think we necessarily have to win.
I'm not saying take a loss. I'm just saying how many points you think we'll need. It doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you know what I mean. I'm not saying I'm happy.
If you win 9 games, you guarantee the title. I think nobody is going. I don't think any team is going, even after this weekend. Obviously this weekend one of them has to lose points, right? But after this weekend, I think neither of these teams go 9 games winning streak because of the schedule they have.
As Kazi was saying a while ago, it's just the trauma, Tim. I feel like you just got to be really secure.
I genuinely can't let Klopp go with 4 seasons over 90 points.
Exactly.
I'm not in one league. I'll fucking be broken,
Okay, well then let's finish with an earlier prediction over here. Arsenal City.
I think City win comfortably.
Comfortably?
I genuinely think that you just beat them 3-0. I remember when they went there last year when Arsenal played them, just beat them 4-1, and everyone just went, "Oh yeah, that's what City do." And then it just fell apart for them a little bit, didn't it? So I'll say I think City just win comfortably and win in a shootout with City.
I think City win as well. It's just that Arteta gets that Pep DNA, and if you play the same way City do, you play against City, you're playing against the best implementation of that style. There's no way you win against that. The best possible iteration of that style. I don't think so.
That's fair. But the one thing I'd say is I think Arsenal are a lot more defensive than City in terms of I think he does sit in games and he does respect the team. But I also think there's a part where his ego might come into it a little bit and think, no, we can come out here and get on the ball.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if he wants to do that, then I know what you're saying, John. You're probably right. But yeah, I think City just goes on. And I don't think De Bruyne went or Haaland because they were injured. Oh, they were injured.
Stones, Walker, and Akanji as well. What
all got injured. Right? Stones and Walker are a little bit different because they actually got injured in game. But I don't even think De Bruyne or Haaland flew out. I think Haaland went for like 3 days and went, oh, I'm injured. Oh, fuck off. You went to see your family and then just came back.
Yeah, basically, that's what happened. I think like I kind of expected everybody to kind of like cop out of the second game. I mean, fucking Turkey got hammered by Austria yesterday because they didn't even play any of the defenders. Everybody took the second game off, and they came out with the different 11s, blah blah blah. But yeah, it's just I kind of knew after the first game, all these guys who are in title races, they're gonna be like, yeah, I'm not feeling this one.
Yeah, and
game coming up in a week, kind of an ordeal. 4-1 says.
I genuinely think they can win comfortably. I genuinely think they'll batter them.
You are late, damn it. We're almost out of here.
Because I also think as well, City's next 3, I think are Arsenal at home, Villa at home, and Palace away. They're 3 tough games in a week to have.
And honestly, here's the thing, when the City games and stuff, like when the Real games, the Champions League games comes into play, even a fixture that doesn't look so great, the minds wander and stuff like that. So a lot can happen in those games. That's why it's important that we kind of cruise in our first legs and stuff like that too. But we'll be back. I mean, the boys will be back tomorrow night. Probably no panel show tonight with the international break. But the boys will be back tomorrow night. I'm sure they'll talk a lot about the Brighton game, and then we'll be back here on Friday morning talking about it as well as we get ready for Sunday. Kazi, John, thanks as always. And thanks to everybody watching, commenting, Instagram Live, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. If you have not already, go check out the YouTube page and subscribe there, and definitely the Patreon page so you can kind of get access to Kazi's. I mean, you think John's parenting thoughts are scary. You guys should listen to Kazi's parenting ideas. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Just gonna leave it at that. You guys have an excellent Wednesday. I'll see you guys Friday morning. Take care.
Take care, guys.